Welcome everyone, my name is Kaz, and this is going to be a blind playthrough of Pillars of Eternity. I have played about 2 hours of this, but that was several months ago, so I don't really remember much of anything about it. I remember a few things here and there. I remember that you meet somebody along the road who's supposed to be somebody special, you end up going to a castle, and that's about the extent of what I remember. Um, Other than that, it's pretty much an entirely blind playthrough. Um, so I am intending to do the entire main story and then tackle the DLC. If I run across something that is DLC along the way and I don't realize it's DLC, that's fine. I don't really know anything about the story. Um, when I was researching, trying to decide between this and Divinity Original Sin 2, I remember reading that this was more along the lines of like trying to chase down a dead god or something like that. I don't. I'm. It's been a long time. I don't entirely remember. So if that's wrong, that's fine. I am going to ask that we do not do spoilers in the comments. I have a very low tolerance, effectively a zero tolerance for that sort of thing. If I miss something in the game, and it's something that you can tell me about without spoiling the story. You know, like say, hey, you missed something back in this town. You should go check out this house. There's an item in the house. That I do not consider to be a spoiler. But if you tell me, hey, this item leads to this quest where you do such and such, well, that is to me a spoiler. I don't want to know what it does. Just tell me that I missed something, and if I'm able to go back and pick it up, then I absolutely will try to do so. I do want to see as much of this as possible on a first playthrough. It's obviously not going to be a 100% sort of playthrough because I don't know what I will and will not miss. So that said, I want to go ahead and get this started, and I hope you enjoy the journey as much as I do. I will be playing on normal, not expert mode or Trial of Iron. I do remember a little bit of the combat, and I don't feel comfortable going above normal. So if you're looking for some sort of super expert hard mode sort of thing, then you'll have to look elsewhere. It's not going to be this. So without further ado, here we go.
Five wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
I'm just throwing this out there. You see how much light they have going on here, and the dude almost doesn't see the fallen tree. Either that's a very tiny tree, in which case just drive over it, or you need somebody with better eyes at the front of that caravan. Alright, so character creation, the absolute most important thing of every single RPG. Alright, so we have, of course, male and female. I will be playing a female character. I'm not going to be trying to read my lines in a female voice, so don't get your hopes up. But I've always played females whenever given the opportunity, or given the choice in a game. Just something I've always done, and it's not going to change now. All right, so but I am curious to see what it says about each one of these options. So this first episode may be maybe a little bit long, and it is going to be almost entirely me reading stuff. So if that's not something you want to listen to, episode 2 will be up pretty quickly. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the character creation here. So, male. The place of men in society varies from culture to culture. Cultures like Ader and the Drywood place them at the forefront of military, politics, and heavy labor. Among the tribes of Nasatak, men perform many of the homesteading and organizational duties. In Air Glanfath and Examital, I don't know that word. Men and women have more fluid social roles. In all societies, there are exceptions to the rule, and men can be found in a wide variety of stations and professions. A woman's role in Eora is largely dependent on where she is from. In the Ader Empire, Valian Republics, and the Drywood, women occupy many domestic, educational, and organizational roles. They are the primary hunters, soldiers, and leaders of the tribes in Nasatak. In Air Glanfath and Examital, women and men have more. Okay, so the same thing as the other. Human. Okay, so race choice. Human. Humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Drywood, the Ader Empire, the Old Valia, and the Valian Republics. Though not as large as the towering Amawa, I think that's how it's pronounced, Amawa, humans are known for their strength and willpower. So they get, oh, you can hover over these. That's cool. Okay. What happens if you click on one? Nothing? Okay. So resolve and might, they get bonuses to those. That's okay. Amawa looks like just a larger human. Okay. The mighty Amawa are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rauatai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength. So they get a +2 to might. Okay. Dwarf. That's okay. I'm just throwing this out there. That's not a dwarf. It doesn't have a beard. So, by virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Drywood, the Valian Republics, and almost any colonized land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. So they sound like they they sound like what humans typically are in an RPG. So they get a +2 to might and -1 to dexterity, I guess because of their size, and +1 to constitution because dwarves get constitution. Pompous pricks. Elves are the dominant race in Air Glanfath and the white that in Air Glanfath and the white that wins. That's and are extremely common in the Drywood and Ader. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as being pompous pricks and arrogant pricks. Keep the language clean here. As well as commonly isolationist in nature. They get +1 to dexterity and +1 to perception. Of course they do. Or, is that a gremlin? Orlins are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. So they're Kinder from Dragonlance. Alright. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies, Orlins are commonly found in Air Glanfath, the Examital Plains, and parts of the Drywood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp senses. They get +1 to resolve. What is resolve, I wonder? Resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project to others. It can be useful for mental intimidation, leadership, and convincing performances. In combat, it helps characters maintain concentration and contributes to the will and deflection defenses. Huh. Okay. -1 to might, I'm assuming due to their size, and +2 to perception. Okay. What's wrong with her face? The godlike are children of the Kith, or civilized. That would have been helpful information at the top of the list here. Okay, the godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods. I'm not sure I would call that a blessing. though some do not consider it a blessing. Okay, there you go. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. And because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. Okay. Okay, well, I've definitely got to see if they have more options than tumor face there. That's horrendous. Dexterity +1 and intellect +1. I guess spiritual-ish. Okay, so okay. Death godlike. Death godlike are the most distrusted of their kind. Strange growths cover their eyes. That strange is one word for it. Or in some cases, entire face, giving them a sinister appearance. Or plague appearance. The growths are transparent for the godlike, but opaque from the outside, hiding their features. Well, that's interesting. Death godlike are commonly killed at birth because many cultures consider them to be harbingers of doom. I can't possibly imagine why when you look like you have a tumor boils all over your face. Is this Death's Usher? Is this like an ability or a passive, I guess? When Death godlike attack an enemy with 25% or less endurance, their damage is increased. Okay, so I guess it's like a passive. Fire godlike. Okay, that's kind of cool. I like that. The bodies of fire godlike often resemble hot metal, burnt wood, or stone, with harmless flames that erupt from the cracks in their skin. Tested this, have we? Fire godlike are objects of both reverence and fear in the Deadfire archipelago. Many locals believe that they have the power to awaken volcanoes, or that killing one will cause a volcano to awaken. Wow, you guys kind of get a bum deal, don't you? In the oh, I've been saying dry wood. That's deer wood, I guess. In the deer wood, fire godlike are often seen as a sign of the blessing of Magrin, goddess of war and fire. Oh, goddess of fire. Battle forged. When reduced below 50% endurance, fire godlike glow like metal in a forge, gaining damage reduction and doing a small amount of fire damage to any creature who hits them in melee. Huh. Okay. Moon godlike. That's an interesting thing. Moon godlike are the most tolerated of the godlike, while their skin... Really? I would be more skeptical of that than I would of fire godlike, but whatever. While their skin tone and large moonlight growth on their foreheads may be strange to some, their appearances are generally considered more palatable by the other kith. Sailors have many beliefs about moon godlike and their propensity to bring luck, though there is little agreement as to what kind of luck they tend to bring. And it looks like their thing is every encounter when reduced below 75, 50%, and 25% endurance. What is endurance anyway? The character's short-term survival damage that is not absorbed by a character's goes straight to their endurance and health. Potions and healing magic can restore endurance. Okay, so it's hit points. Just call it hit points. Okay, so reduced below those thresholds, moon godlike generate waves of healing moonlight that restore endurance to them and their allies. That sounds a little OP. I wonder how well that scales as you level. Nature godlike appear to be a fusion of human and animal features, often covered by plants, moss, or fungi. That's gross. This has led to the common stigma that they are diseased, and many are killed at birth because of it. Many druidic orders have a keen interest in nature godlike because of their general curiosity as to how souls occupy animals, plants, and stones. That's okay. So, I'm just going to make a mental note, druids are weird, because that's strange. Wellspring of Life grants a bonus to might, constitution, and dexterity when endurance is below 50%. That doesn't sound... I wonder how much of a bonus it is. That's one thing that RPGs like this should do at character creation. Give you a baseline of roughly how much it does. You know, then make a note that it does scale, but give you a baseline so that you at least can have an idea. You know, well, which one do I want to go with? Because based on the information, I mean, this sounds insanely OP. And for those that have never heard that before, it's insanely overpowered. I would imagine if you're watching my video right now, you probably already know that, though. So I think, well, I mean, I like the look of the Fire Godlike, but that passive seems incredibly powerful. So I think I'm going to go with the Moon Godlike. Oh, didn't I just? Oh, body type. Oh, so I can have the human body type. I can. Okay. Okay. So I can change my body type to be something. Well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of like. Is it just me, or does the Amala head seem a little bit larger than natural for proportion's sake? I mean, the arms are bigger, the legs are bigger, they're taller, but I don't know, it just seems like the head is a little bit... Let's see. So, right about there, comes down to the belt buckle. No, okay, so it's about the same. Well, then I guess I'll do the Amala body type then, because then I can see the gear that I put on better. Class. Oh, wow, that's a lot of classes. So, okay, so fighter can have sword and board. I'm assuming paladin can. Okay. Oh, okay. Looks like some plate armor going on there. All right, well, I'll start with the paladin and read from there, and briefly glance over each of the others. I tend to play paladins when they're offered, as long as it actually feels like a paladin class from the description. And it's plate, sword, and shield, so it kind of looks the part so far. Okay, so paladins are martial zealots devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. Okay, so they're not simply religious in this world. Okay, so interesting. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules the chain of command and common sense. So, in other words, they can be extremely stalwart and reliable allies until in the middle of the heat of battle, and then they're able to inspire their allies to be reckless if the paladin is that type of individual. That's interesting. Oops. Starting ability. Faith and Conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defenses. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her order. Interesting. Okay. They get +2 athletics and +1 lore. What is athletics? Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the second wind ability to recover lost endurance. Oh, some more healing. A higher athletics score increases the effect of second wind. In conversations and scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. Okay. Lore. Lore represents a character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge and trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversations and scripted interactions, lore is used to activate scrolls. Higher lore values allow the character to use higher level scrolls. So, that's something that I guess I'll encounter more of as I play. Don't really know what to think of that. So endurance starts... Okay, so endurance 42 plus 14 per level. Oh, this is what they gain. Okay. Okay, wait. So endurance and health are two separate things? Health is a long-term damage. Only regain through rest and talent. Health is long-term damage. Damage that is not absorbed by a character's ability goes straight to their health and endurance. When a character's health reaches 0, they will either be maimed or killed, depending on some game setting. A maimed character who is reduced to 0 health will always be killed, regardless of settings. Oh. Unlike endurance, a character's health does not get restored after combat. Okay. But characters have much larger health values than endurance values. Okay. So health is 5 times endurance, so I apparently have a very high health then? Okay, and accuracy is 25. We'll just... Okay, so basically the chance to hit or get a grazing or glancing blow. Okay. Deflection, I'm pretty sure that's just the ability to use to resist direct melee and range attacks against a character that are not area of effect. It is defined by a character's class, level, and resolve, but may also be influenced by shield, certain... Okay, so it's essentially a generic defense. Okay, so... Okay. Well, what is the barbarian? What are they? Brutes, madmen, I just noticed the outfit. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. Though city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect, these screw that word. These rural warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places, the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. So, starting ability, Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of the target. Wow, so in other words, when a barbarian hits somebody, it does splash damage to everybody, I'm assuming within, like, what, 1-2 meters, maybe a little bit less? That sounds very powerful. Athletics 2, we already know what that is. Survival allows a character to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses. Increased consumable duration. Okay. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. So how many can you do? Huh. Survival can also be used in conversations and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. Okay. So endurance, 48 plus 16. What was the other one? Was a paladin? 42, 14. Okay, so 48, 16. Health, 6 times endurance. Accuracy, wow, that's a lot of health. Accuracy, average. Deflection, low. Okay. So, it mentioned Chanter in the loading screen, and I was going to read it, but it disappeared too quickly. So, in every culture across Eoria, I keep wanting to say Eorzea because I play Final Fantasy XIV. There are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic, their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. In some societies, chanters form organized groups of storytellers and researchers, but in most parts of the world, they are just a time-honored part of local folk traditions. Just side note, when I tried playing this a few months back, I did try to play a chanter first, and I remember I did not do very well. So I will not be playing a chanter again. The reason that I chose chanter at that time was I had read that they become extremely powerful. I was not having fun because I was struggling on what I assume are supposed to be simple fights, and I did not enjoy that. So I will not be playing a chanter this time around. If I am able to get a chanter in my party, then and it allows me to choose their skills and whatnot, then I'll play with it there, and maybe sometime down the road I'll try another playthrough and do a chanter instead. I don't know. We'll see. Starting abilities. Phrases and chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a character's power until they can use an invocation. Invocations. Powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they have spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. Okay. I don't remember how that works. So, lore and mechanics. Oh, these are so long. Traps and locks can be problem-free. Okay, so this is basically being able to pick locks, detect traps, and I'm assuming disarm traps. Possibly, let's see, more accurate. In conversations and scripted interactions, mechanics can be used to activate or disable a variety of machines. Okay, that's kind of what I was expecting. Accuracy, health, blah blah blah. Okay, so priest, I assume, is just generally a healer. Holy radiance generates monsters for allies. Yeah, that's what I. Wow, their stats suck. Ranger is exactly what I was expecting. Rogue, dual wielding daggers, sneak attack. Nah, I don't even like playing stealthy characters in MMOs. So, my favorite class in an MMO to play is anything with a shield, sword and shield. Wizard seems pretty straightforward. That is a colorful skin you have there, sweetheart. Alright, Arcane Assault. Mid-range attack that hits a small area for raw? There are 8 damage. I'll read that later. And can leave targets dazed. Spells, wizards, blah blah blah. Spells, okay. Monk belongs to a variety of fighting orders that have sprung up in that word I can't pronounce in the Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder, Teletak. These names. Teletak. That's going to be his name. Individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect the incredible discipline of monks, but see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers are not sure what to make of them. Oh, really? Starting ability. Transcendent Suffering. When monks have no weapon equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful and continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Interesting. Wounds. As monks are damaged, their pain generates wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monk's special abilities. Interesting mechanic. Stealth. Why? Stealth allows characters of any class to attempt to avoid being seen or heard. It is used automatically whenever the character is in scouting mode. The higher the character's skill, the closer they can get to enemies before being detected. By the way, another thing, just a side note. If you have suggestions, I'm almost certainly going to be going with Paladin. So if you have suggestions on how to do that build for a Paladin, please do give me some pointers. But don't tell me, you're doing it wrong, or you need stealth, because I mean Paladins are not stealthy. I'm not doing a stealth thing. But if you have suggestions on how to actually build the Paladin, then absolutely yes, I am open to suggestions. As long as it does not involve something that is not Paladin, and that I'm not saying that I am the end-all decision maker on what is and is not a Paladin, but I do have an opinion on what I believe a Paladin is and is not. So I will take all the suggestions into account. But if there's a suggestion that I don't think is Paladin, or feels Paladin, then it's no offense to anyone who makes the suggestion, I will not use that. So fighters from the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. They are the most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure. Fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. So it's just everybody knows what a fighter is. Constant recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a modest rate during combat. Oh, really? Recovery is the amount of time that a character spends between actions. Longer actions result in proportionally longer recovery. Armor also has a large effect on recovery. Generally, heavier armor inflicts longer recovery penalties. Oh, that's gonna suck then. Accuracy, very accurate. High deflection. Okay, so I mean, I'm still going with Paladin. I like the whole being part of an order thing. Druid, Animus at heart. Druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Eora. Plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, Druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, Druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glenfathans, Nasataki, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. Starting ability, spirit shift. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. Shape shift. These forms give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. Okay. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. Okay, so D&D. Per rest, okay. As druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. Oh, wow. Interesting. Kind of crappy stats, though. And Cypher. Interesting armor. Even more interesting, two-handed sword. A recent discovery in the Eastern Reach. Cyphers were once called whatever that word is, Brishalgwin Mind Hunters by the Glenfathans. See, they're friggin' elves, man. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using an ally's or enemy's essence as the focus for their magic. Okay, so no, I apologize for earlier. No, it wasn't Chanter that I had tried, it was Cypher. And directly targeted with power. Yeah, I struggled with that. So, okay, so Paladin is what I will be going with. So, sorry if that bored you. Oh, Paladin order, and then there's a lot to read. Okay, so bear with me, we're going to read through these. The Bleakwalkers are soldiers dedicated to conducting warfare mercilessly and with extreme brutality in order to bring a swift end to conflicts. Because they are renowned for their terrible and unyielding nature, most nobles will only call on them as a last resort. The Bleakwalkers' behavior reinforces cruelty because the quickest resolution to a battle is one in which the Bleakwalkers' arrival is announced and a surrender immediately follows. To ensure that people understand that no mercy will be given by Bleakwalkers, they never give quarter under any circumstances. Okay. Favored dispositions, cruel and aggressive. Disfavored, benevolent, diplomatic. So, that's gonna be a hard no. The oldest known Paladin order in the world, the Darkazi Paladini, were founded as the guards of the Darkazi Palace in Grand Valia over 2,000 years ago. Since the shattering of Grand Valia, the Darkazi Paladini have transformed into the protectors and ambassadors of the immense Darkazi family, as well as Old Valian culture. The Darkazi Paladini are widespread and occasionally even come into conflict with each other due to the machinations of the Darkazi family. So the Darkazi family sounds like it's very large. Paladins of the order are renowned for their wit and love of life. Favored dispositions, passionate and clever. Disfavored, cruel and stoic. No. The Gold-Packed Knights are an order of mercenary paladins who sell themselves for all sorts of defensive and offensive engagements. They emerged on the Pearl Coast a few hundred years ago and managed to survive the destruction of the dwarven nation that created them. Oh! A paladin order that was founded by dwarves. Now, okay, I like that. That's cool. Usually, paladin orders are founded by the human societies, and are later adopted by others. But this sounds like that this paladin order was founded. It says it was founded by dwarves. That I like that. I can only think of one other game that does that, and that's the Warcraft franchise. Okay, so Gold Pack Knights are not especially brutal and are willing to shift direction based on the desires of their employers. As their name suggests, the Gold Pack Knights believe payment forms a binding contract. They are known for being non-judgmental, professional, and impressively mirthless. Okay, so they're basically mercenaries that hold mercenary as an ideal. It sounds like that's what an interesting concept for a paladin order. I like it. Favored dispositions: stoic and rational, disfavored passionate and aggressive. Okay, interesting. The most widespread paladin order, the Kind Wayfarers, are guides and protectors for travelers, often people of limited means traveling in dangerous areas. The Kind Wayfarers lack the noble prestige of other paladin orders, but are widely respected by commoners for their generosity and compassion. Kind Wayfarers lack a centralized structure, and many members operate independently in remote areas. Though the order is known for not being wealthy, in recent years they've improved their finances via cartography and working with groups like the Hand Occult to develop travel guides for little-known parts of Eora. Hand Occult? That sounds like an evil organization. Favored dispositions: benevolent and passionate. Disfavored dispositions: deceptive and cruel. Okay, really liking them. I like the benevolent and passionate. I like those being the favored dispositions, and I like the general lore of them. Let's see what this is. During a peace negotiation, an archer from the kingdom of Ader shot the noblewoman emissary of Kulkin, Elka, in the arm, provoking battle. Elka nevertheless made a second attempt at negotiation, accompanied by 3 elven knights whose only arms were shields they held in front of Elka to protect her. If they dual-wielded shields, that would be amazing. Anyway, Elka succeeded, helping form the Ader Empire. The knights who protected her founded the Shield Bearers of Saint Elka, who continue to act as guardians and diplomats in Ader and beyond. They are well known for their honesty and skill in negotiations. Oh. Favored dispositions: honest and diplomatic, disfavored, cruel and aggressive. Okay, so here is a dilemma. I like the Kind Wayfarers, I like the lore, and I like the favored dispositions. I hate elves, so being part of an order that was founded by them would be irksome. But the favored dispositions, honest and diplomatic, those are generally the most paladin-esque ideals that I think of when I think of paladins. Honesty, being able to diplomatically resolve situations. Of course, typically, stereotypically, and traditionally, paladins being religious and in their as a part of their fundamental nature, but that's not the case here, which is fine. Honest and diplomatic, or benevolent and passionate, I think it was. So, to me, honesty above all has always been, even if it means that it gets you in trouble, honesty above all. If you did something and you shouldn't have, and someone confronts you on it, you admit to it. Good or bad, regardless of whether the outcome is good or bad, you admit to it. You be honest that you did it. And diplomatic, I've always preferred in games, because I find it leads to more lore, more narrative, more story, to be diplomatic than to just straight up fight. So I think in this case I will be going with the Shield Bearers of St. Elko. I like those favored dispositions. They are more in line with how I see paladins. You know, I really like the Kind Wayfarers. Definitely have to do another one. Definitely gonna have to do another one of the another playthrough sometime with the Kind Wayfarers. Okay, paladin abilities cover 3 major categories: close passive and wait, where are the commas? Close passive and modal support ability. Oh, okay. Close passive and modal support abilities, single target support abilities, and a small number of targeted offensive. Okay, everybody knows what passive is. Modal? A modal ability is one that causes... Grammar, typos, proofreading. A modal ability is one that causes I can't read that. A modal ability is one that causes effects to occur continuously while it is active. For example, a Paladin Zealous Auras. Oh, okay, so it's a toggle. Are often grouped so that only one modal ability in a category can be activated. Okay, it's a toggle ability. Okay, so Flames of Devotion calls upon the Paladin's inner fire, causing their equipped weapons to burst into flame and adding burn damage to their next attacks. 2 per encounter. Cast speed, I assume, is cast speed. Instant. User full attack does that, and that. Lay on hands. Fueled solely by belief, the paladin is able to heal with the touch of his or her hands, recovering substantial amount of endurance. Okay, so it's a heal spell. Okay, that's fine. I tend to play defensively with my paladins because, you know, sword and board. Okay, so we've got that done. Attributes define a character's basic mental blah blah blah. Yeah, right, that's what attributes do. So I'm assuming the stars recommended. Okay, yeah, and highly recommended. Okay, so okay, so let's see what each one of these does. Might represents a character's physical and spiritual strength, brute force, as well as their ability to channel powerful magic. Interesting. During interactions, it can be useful for intimidating displays and acts of brute force. In combat, it contributes to both damage and healing, as well as fortitude defense. Interesting. So if I add to that, that's... Okay, so 10 is baseline. 10 is average. So 10 on anything is average. Okay. Constitution is a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Although it is not used much in interactions, it is sometimes checked to withstand pain or endure a physically taxing ordeal. In combat, it affects maximum health and endurance and contributes to the fortitude defense. What is fortitude defense? Resists attacks on the internal physical systems of the character. Poison, disease. Oh, okay. I just find a little might and constitution becomes... Okay, cool. Dexterity is apparently not recommended. It is an abstraction of a character's hand-eye coordination, balance, and overall grace. In interactions, it can be used for sleight of hand and fast reactions. In combat, it affects the character's action speed with all attacks, spells, and abilities, and contributes to the reflex defense. Reflex allows the character to dodge out of the way of physically harmful AoE attacks. It is defined by a character's class level, dexterity, and perception. It may also be influenced by other effects. Okay. Okay, and I'm getting +1 because of my race choice. So +3 action speed and +2 reflex. So if I do, so that makes it baseline. That gives me 16 points to work with. Perception represents a character's senses as well as their instinctive ability to pick up on details. In interactions, it can be used to catch someone in a lie, to make an observant comment about their appearance, or to notice something happening in the background. In combat, it contributes to accuracy, the reflex defense, and grants a bonus to interrupt. Wow. Interrupt determines how likely a damaging attack is to delay their opponent's current or next action. The roll uses an interrupt value from the attacker that is then compared to the target's concentration. A 1d100 is roll of 100 is made adding the interrupt. If the result is higher than the concentration, the target plays a hit reaction and their current action is delayed. Okay. The duration of the delay is determined by the interrupt strength listed on the weapon or attack. An interrupt applied to a character already suffering from an interrupt with a longer duration will have no effect. Okay, so don't try to interrupt somebody who's already been interrupted. Gotcha. Okay. Intellect represents a character's logic and reasoning abilities. In interactions, it can be useful for deduction, sudden realizations, and problem solving. In combat, it contributes to the will defense and influences durations and areas of effect and for all abilities and talents. Okay, will poses attacks that are mentally based. A spell that can paralyze the target. Okay, so crowd control sounds like. It is defined by a character's class, level, intellect, and resolve, but may also be influenced by other effects. Okay, I get a +1. Whoa. Oh wow, that's a large boost to area of effect. Resolve reflects a character's internal drive, determination, and fearlessness, and the emotional intensity they can project on others. Oh wait, I've already read this. Wait, why does that say 10? Why does that say 10 and not 11? If we take that, okay. Oh, okay. So 4 is. Why is it -1 on that? Something about that seems off. Am I not getting something applied from somewhere? Huh. Okay, well, whatever. Alright, so based on the descriptions of these, obviously might and concentration are going to be of use. I like what perception would allow me to do, so I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of points to that. Intellect, area of effect, I'm going to go ahead and just put that at 14. Resolve, I'm going to put, let's see, I have 5 points left. 1, 2, give me 3 points left. Okay, so if I do that, okay, I like that. I don't know if that's good or bad. We'll just deal with it as it comes. I did say that this would be a long episode, so I do apologize if you were not if you don't want to watch the whole thing. Didn't realize there was quite so much involved with character creation. Okay, so I'm gonna rush through these. Aether, the Aether Empire, is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. The Empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world. Greater Aether, Greater Aether, is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. +1 to resolve. Interesting armor. Consisting of the nation of Nasatak, dozens of Amawa settlements, and hundreds of lawless, pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea, Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Amawa, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. Okay. And it's +1 to dexterity for that. Examinal Plains, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm probably not from there since I can't even pronounce the location. Located to the northeast of Air Glenfath, the Examinal Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. The Examinal culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. Okay. Oh, and that was +1 to resolve, as is Ader. What is that? That's not a shield. That's a hat. You're holding like a shield. Old Valia. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remains of an empire of warring merchant nations, counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks. The Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. +1 to intellect. Oh, is that why okay, so if I go back to that now... Okay, so that's why it did that. Okay. Because it assumed I was from... That's very interesting. Okay, Rawatai. Dominated by the Amawa nation of Rawatai, the Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Amawa, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are sometimes the most advanced colonial settlements in the East. Or they are some of the most advanced. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. Okay, so +1 to Constitution. No, not really. There's that friggin' hat again. I do like that shield, but what's with this hat? It's a French helmet that you're holding like a shield. That is not a shield. The Living Lands is the mountainous region start over. The Living Lands is a mountainous region of a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable, and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and a variety of colonial and independent settlements. +1 to might. I guess because of the unpredictable storms. The White that Wins. Interesting attire. A large, cracked southern expanse of polar ice, the White that Wins is home to pale elves, and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. And I guess in order to survive, you have to be perceptive, so therefore perception +1. Okay, so after reading all those, I'm going with Ader. Yes, it's vanilla, bland, boring, whatever. But I don't know. I like that one the most. Plus, the starting gear looks nice. I mean, I don't know. Might. Did any of them give? Yeah, well, the White that Wins gave perception, but I don't want that two-handed sword. Wonder how quickly I could replace that. One of them gave intelligence. Which one was that? Intellect. I'm not starting with the French helmet. Okay, so we'll go with the bland Ader start. Wow, so much for an hour long. This is going to go over that. Alright, so Aristocrat. Excuse me, this is background. So, Aristocrat. You've lived your life amongst the nobility. Your days have been marked by lavish meals and extravagant parties. Your conversations peppered with talk of pedigree and bloodlines. This seems sort of fitting with the shield bearers of Elka. Colonist. You were part of a group that founded a fledgling colony in a distant land. That sounds more like the kind wayfarers. Oh, and lore, survivalist, dissident. You made a name for yourself as a troublemaker. Nope. You never quite fit in no matter where you go. Each new town is just a place to... Nope. Hunter. You live for the thrill of the chase. Nope. Laborer. Your life has been spent in the study of your craft. You trained and prepared, hoping to hone your skills and ply your trade. No. Mercenary, blade in battle is your way of life. You solve your problems by pulling out your weapon. Nope. You traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. No. Piety and prayer are the cornerstones of your public life, and you encourage the same in others. I mean, I could, but no. Mm, uh. Slave, you have never known freedom. Shackles and chains have bound your user. Hey, it's the Bethesda start. So clergyman or aristocrat? I know they both have lore +2, but they're really the only two they sort of apply here. Nah, I'll do aristocrat. Clergy sounds like that would just get on my nerves. All right. Oh, appearance. Oh, well, we're not having plague face. No. Those are just the same with different hairstyles. Oh, that's pretty. Okay, so Mrs. Claus. Males. Wait, the males get... Oh, that thing's terrifying. That beard. That's amazing. Okay, so... Don't seem... Wow, there's a lot of choices here. Okay, so I guess we're going with Mrs. Claus. That works. 4 choices for head. Okay, so what do we got? Yeah, no. Well, that's interesting anyway. No? So those are my 2 choices then. Because the other 2 are, well, I mean, I don't know. That's... I don't know, it looks like her brain's sticking out in like an energy form. I don't like that. Here's a little bit shorter than I care for. I wish I could zoom in. That seems pretty low-key. Also sort of fits with that. Oh, but then so does that. This actually fits better with that than the other does. Okay, so we'll go with that. Alright, so... wait. Previous. What are these? So if I change... Oh. Alright then. We'll go with that and that. That's better. Red is my favorite color. Alright, voices.
Easy now. Leading the way.
Eh.
Silence surrounds me. Yes?
I shall lead us.
My eyes are peeled.
Eh? I've got this. Let's go!
Quickly and quietly.
I've got this.
Eh.
Kill them all! Keeping an eye out. Yes?
Eh.
I'm flattered. Yeah! I'm here. I'm flattered. Duh! I'm here. Quietly now. Quietly now.
Follow me.
Let's go.
Keeping quiet.
Huh?
Follow me.
Eh.
I'll teach you a lesson.
They'll never know I'm here. Watch and learn.
I'll teach you a lesson.
They'll never know I'm here.
Yeah? I'll lead the way. You'd better run!
Yeah, that's definitely no.
Quietly now. I'm here. I'm flattered. Yeah! Not a sound. I'm here.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, there's not a it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of difference between most of those, but I don't know. I kind of like the benevolent one the best. You can have a silent protagonist. Awesome.
I'll lead the way.
That's
Stand
amazing. You
together!
can have a male voice. Okay. Okay, so and now I can enter my name. So that is the name that I use pretty much for the first character that I make in any game, always. So if you're ever playing an MMO, say Final Fantasy XIV, and you see that name, it's more than likely me. I don't see a whole lot of people use that name. So if you see me, say hello, and I'll say hello. I'll say hi. Bleh. I'll trip over my words is what I'll do. I'll say hello back. Anyway, so that is the name that I'm going with, and it looks So done has finally lit up. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and call this episode here, and if I didn't bore you too much, then please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if there's anything that I could do better. Like I said, this is my first video for Let's Plays. Trying to get started in this because I'm always playing games anyway. I figure why not record myself doing it and maybe try and bring enjoyment to other people. So take care for now, and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.